A lot of people have $1 million budget. Should I buy one commercial property or should I buy two $500,000 commercial properties? My answer would be totally different. All right, so we are back, and today we're going to be talking about a really common question that I get all the time, which is a lot of people have $1 million budget, and they ask me, I say, I've got $1 million budget. Should I buy one commercial property or should I buy two $500,000 commercial properties? And it's quite an interesting topic because my answer is probably a little bit different to what people would think. Because if you're looking at this in a residential sense, my answer would be totally different. Because residential property is a totally different game than commercial property. It's the drivers, the way that it is valued, the way that it has capital growth. You're speculating, you're waiting for the market to make you. So it's a totally different answer to what I would give for commercial assets. But in a commercial sense, the way that you need to look at this is that you have to be understanding what type of property you're going to be buying, compared in those $500,000 to $1 million bracket. You also have to compare the type of tenant that you're going to be taking on as well. And you also have to be able to really understand the difference in the lengths of the lease as well. That's really one of the main things. And the quality of tenant as well, I would say, as part of it. Because if you're buying two $500,000 properties, and $500,000 is really the lowest value commercial property that I would suggest has like minimal, like low risk. Because anything lower than that, you're starting to get into the territory of 12-month leases. Like say it's a $400,000 or a $300,000 property, a warehouse, retail, or office. You should only really be expecting up to a 12-month lease with those particular lower budget assets. And then if you're only getting a 12-month lease with a lesser unsecured tenant, might be a startup business, could be a tradie, could be someone who's just kind of like a lower volume type of business, they're more likely going to either expand and need a bigger space in future because they're starting out, or they're going to fail and die. So business is risky. A lot of businesses fail. A lot of businesses don't get the traction they need to really, really fly. So at around the $500,000 mark, you can start getting, or you can get up to around a 3-year lease. Now that is not, you obviously can get longer leases sometimes, but on average, the rule would be, if I were buying a property around that $500,000 mark, I would really only expect up to a 3-year lease. That'd be a very strong lease in that particular price bracket. And the tenant that is going to be in that property, it could be a reasonably large property, maybe 250 square meter warehouse, maybe. Obviously retail is a bit smaller, so it's going to be a smaller retail shop. But that particular tenant is going to be reasonably established, hopefully. They could be a startup business, but you've got to expect, after the due diligence that you do, you really want to know how long they've been in business. Preferably they've been at that particular location for a very long time, which would be nice. But realistically, you're going to be buying a property that has a smaller tenancy, which means they're less sticky. Depending if they did a fit out or not. But realistically, you're buying a tenancy that has a smaller business because they don't need the space, and you're going to be buying into strata. So this is also one of the big differences, is that buying into strata can definitely work. There's a few different ways to look at it with the risk that you're taking. So like with insurance, you're sharing the insurance cover, you're sharing the risk of things going wrong in all the common areas of the property. But you give away control of the asset. So if you can, I personally prefer to buy freehold. And I would suggest if you have the means to be able to get into freehold territory, which is usually $1 million and up, that's what I would go for, because it's just having control lowers your risk. You can also add value better or easier to a freehold property that you own, and you don't have to go through strata and figure out if that's going to be okay. You can also change the property, so change the use of it. So if you buy a larger freehold property, you have the options to be able to put in extra tenancies if you want to. So it really gives you, having control lowers your risk over the entire asset. So if you're buying two $500,000 properties, one of the pros of that is that you'll have two tenants, which that's great. So having multiple tenants in your portfolio is obviously better, because if one tenant leaves, you hopefully still have another tenant that can pay majority of the bills. So that's definitely a pro for buying two $500,000 properties. But if you're going to look at it purely from an asset type base, what would you rather have? I would much rather have a $1 million freehold property that is potentially I can add value to, potentially has a better quality tenant. So it's going to be a bigger style property with larger net lettable area. And they're also, you could expect 3 to 5 year leases in $1 million property. So with a $500,000 property, up to 3 year lease is usually a good lease for that type of budget. But in that $1 million range, you could definitely get a 5 year lease with a couple of 5 year options. So that's obviously going to be more desirable going forward. So in that particular price range, $1 million, I would definitely suggest putting all of your eggs in one basket. And to tell you the truth, $1 million property is still considered a very cheap property or a low end property in commercial property world. That's it. Like when people come from residential investing, they're like, oh, it's $1 million property. Like it's big. I'm like, actually, it's not. It wouldn't be considered to be a large value asset in commercial property, because commercial properties can range from 2, 3, 4, 40 million, 100 million, 200 million. Like it's just like there's no end to the value of what a commercial property can be based on the income it produces. So you really have to look at that as well. Now, so in my opinion, I would suggest that it is more beneficial. It's better for your portfolio. You have more options. You have lower risk to buy a $1 million property rather than splitting your budget and buying two $500,000 properties. You're just going to have less headaches. You're going to have more ways you can add value to the $1 million property. You're going to be in complete control, and you could literally increase the value significantly by putting in extra tenants to that freehold. Because with a strata title property, a $500,000 property, you're really not going to have many value adds. So you might be able to put in a mezzanine. You might be able to increase the rates. You might be able to give the retail property an overall facade lift, or redo the interior a little bit when you have a turnover of tenants. But ultimately, you're not going to have huge ways that you can add value to that property because it's within a strata, and you can only do so much. With a freehold, you really, the options are endless. It really comes down to your creativity and what you could do. So if you find something that's $1 million property, it's under rented, it might have area in the yard, say it's an industrial property, there could be a hard stand that the tenant is not using, you could take back. You could put a fence around that hard stand and rent it out for parking for someone who has a truck they want to park overnight, or some large equipment or storage or anything like that. And that could literally be $10,000 extra rent, or say it's $20,000 extra income per year. And if that's in a market cap rate of 6, I'll just do the calculation. That's $333,000 that you've added to the value of that property. So it's, over 30% you could add to that property by just getting $20,000 extra revenue on that $1 million property. That's pretty big. people, when I talk to people about value add and adding income, they're like, oh, but it's only $20,000 per year. That's not really that much. I'm like, yeah, but if you use that in the commercial property calculation to value the property, which is the net income divided by the cap rate equals value, it's very powerful. That's why every single dollar in commercial property, every net income dollar is seriously valuable because it equates to actually the value back at the end of the day. So don't neglect the net income, just adding in even $5, $10, $15, $20,000 to your commercial property, because it can make the world of difference. And $100,000 of forced equity is a fantastic result. All right, guys. Well, this has been one of the newer ways that we're going to be putting some content together. Last year, I was very, very busy with taking significant amount of action in my own personal portfolio, getting a lot of great deals, big deals over the line. Everything's been going excellently. Everything's been going really fantastic. But taking action and doing lots of things has given me less time to create more content and really getting out the awesome word about commercial property. So we're going to be doing things a little bit different this year. We're going to be putting out a lot more content, making it a priority, because I really do enjoy talking and really just having fun, learning and talking to other commercial property investors and professionals. It's just a super fun. I just love it. So we're going to be doing a lot more content this year. And let me know if there are specific things that you'd like me to dive into, or specific people that you'd like me to interview on the show. But let me know what you think. And thanks, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.